Hello, Soulshine. I am Shell and I am inviting you to wake up and live. Today I am at an all-day event, and so instead of doing my normal live video, I wanted to share with you a recording I made almost 2 weeks ago. I taught my children in what we call family home evening. It's a time where we get together every week as a family. It's really important to us, and we can use the opportunity to teach or just hang out with each other. And so I'm teaching today about music and some really important things that I think everybody needs to know about music, because I thought how valuable it would be to share with you. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. Remember, folks, let your light shine. Let your soul shine, big, bright, live, and beautiful. And I will see you on a live video real soon. Okay, hello and thank you for coming. My name is Michelle and I'm the mom, and we are inviting you today to Family Home Evening. Thank you for joining us on video. Thank you, Amy, for joining us with Family Home Evening. So glad that you are here. And Kulani, it's nice to see you here too. You're doing awesome. Cheyenne, so glad you're here. And my mom, and Hiram, and Zach, I told you. Okay, so in our religion, we have been encouraged to have what we call Family Home Evening. And Family Home Evening is something that we do on every Monday night. It's an opportunity for us to instruct our family on the things that we feel are important. So I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank YouTube for allowing us to share this with you. Today we are going to talk about music, and specifically the effect music has on us. So before we get started, we're going to talk about the 3 rules during my presentation. Are you ready for them? Raise your hand if you're ready for them. Okay, rule number 1. Oh, let me put up my 3 rules. Excuse me. Okay. See that? Why are you up here? No, I want you, go sit. You can go sit on the back of the couch. Don't bump anything. Look, you want to see, huh? Okay. Rule number 1. Can you guys see this on the camera? You see?
We can't see the numbers. We can't see the numbers.
Okay, that's okay. First rule, respect. Let's talk about respect. What respect means. Respect means that if you have a communication device here in the room, you'll be sure to put it on silent so that it does not disturb anyone else in the room. It means that we're going to be kind to one another. If I ask you to give high fives to one another, you're going to do it with kindness. If you have something to say, you're going to raise your hand and I will call on you. Does everybody understand? Okay. Rule number 2. This rule actually may be a challenge for a couple of people in my family. This rule is be present. Be present.
It just says present.
Well, it just says present, but it means to be present. Excuse my cough. Being present means that we're focused on what's happening here and now and in this moment. That we're paying attention and that we're trying to learn as much as we can. And even if we think we know what the subject is about, we're going to pay attention. We're going to give it our all and listen to the best of our abilities. Rule number 3.
Three.
3. Have fun.
Fun. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4. 4.
Rule number 3 is have fun. Who here likes to have fun?
Except for Zach.
Everyone except for Zach. Zach doesn't like to have fun. Zach's actually just really upset. So that's okay. He's not going to be fully present today, is he? So if we like to have fun, that means we want to try to make this as fun as possible. Now sometimes it's kind of hard because Mom's up here talking, telling stories, and it doesn't always make it very fun, does it? You're like, I don't always make things fun. I sure try to make things fun, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that respectful, though?
No.
Don't stick your tongue out at me. Rule number 1, respect. Are you going to commit to rule number 1? Thank you. Okay, I have an agreement. My agreement is that I'm going to give you my 100%. And I would like in return for your 100%. Are you willing to give me 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah? Now, does that mean it has to be perfect?
No.
My 100% is, right now, I don't even have all of my voice here. And I still haven't learned all of the things that I need to learn in order to be an amazing and perfect presenter. But I'm going to give you the best 100% that I can, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you my best. And that's what I want from you, is your best. Okay? These rules are going to be our rules every time Mom's teaching. Okay? Let's say them together. Respect, present, have fun. Again, respect, present, have fun. Okay, now let's see if you can do it 10 times louder. Ready? Respect, present, have fun. I heard half of the room. Ready? One more time. Respect, present, have fun. Okay, woo! Are we having fun yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? Some of the kids are saying yes. Some of the kids are kind of rolling their eyes at me. Okay, so let me share with you a story. Are you ready for a story? Yeah? Are you ready for a story? Okay, so my kids' grandfather, it's their dad's dad, has a story that I learned from. One day back when my kid's dad, because I'm talking to YouTube right now, right? One day, when he was probably like 9 or 10 years old, maybe, his dad was playing the piano. So now I'm going to talk about, this is your grandpa. Your grandpa was playing the piano. And he decided to try an experiment. Okay, so he was playing the piano and he decided to play some like really fast kind of intense music. And everybody in the house was like, they were getting louder, they were starting to argue and everything because of the music. So then he started playing soft music, probably church music, some things that were softer and brought in the spirit. And you noticed that everybody in the house calmed down. Well, then he played the loud and fast music again, and everybody got crazy and wild again. And then he played the soft music again, and everybody got peaceful again. Pretty crazy, huh?
Is that why you played the church music?
That is why just before we got on here, we had a situation in our house. And I played church music. Some music to help us to feel calm and to feel love again. And that is why. That is why. Thank you for asking that question. Next time, can you remember to raise your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. So tonight I want to talk about 3 subjects. How many?
3.
3. We're going to talk about the type of music we listen to. We're going to talk about the lyrics to music. And we're going to talk about invisible music. What do you think of that? Invisible music. Okay.
Invisibility.
Now, let's see this.
That's a mouse.
This is a mouse, and this is a maze, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A long time ago, I don't know, does that get covered up by this? If I put this here?
Yeah.
Can this be kind of seen?
It kind of can.
Kind of can. Okay, so we have our mouse.
See the mouse.
We have a mouse with a maze here. Okay, when I was probably in high school, my mom gave me a book.
Turned off.
Okay, just click that. When it does that, it's still recording. It's just the computer goes kind of to sleep. It's okay. Okay? Thank you. So when I was in high school, my mom gave me a book. Now I don't remember the name of the book, but I know who wrote it. His name was Michael Bellum, and he was a magician. Not a magician, a musician. Oh my goodness, that was silly of me. Okay, so he studied music. He was an amazing singer, and he was very interested in music. And so he wrote a book about it and the effects of music on our brains. They did studies on some mice back then, some poor little mice. They did some studies. These studies where they played certain kinds of music for them. Now, they had 2 sets of mice, I think. I don't remember all of the details of the story, but I definitely remember enough to have an impact on my life. Now, some of the mice who were getting played classical music and kind music, their brains actually got smarter, and they were able to go through the mazes faster. But then there was another group of mice, and those group of mice, they played some kind of mean music and some intense music, maybe music that had a lot of like sound to it or something. And those mice actually couldn't remember how to get through the maze. Their brains were getting dumber and stupider. They were losing their brain capacity. And when the mice would die, they would look at their brains. Those who had the good music, their brains were clear and solid. And those who had the bad music, there were holes in their brains, and their brains were squishy and they weren't good. I don't know if squishy is the right word, but their brains were not healthy. And this was just from music. Everything else for the mice was completely the same. So if that happened to mice, do you think that can happen to you?
Yeah.
Do you think the kind of music that you listen to affects your brain?
Yeah.
Do you want to listen to music that makes you smarter or music that makes you less smart?
Smart.
Do you want to listen to music that makes your brain healthy or less healthy?
Healthy.
Healthy, because we want music that makes our brain go higher and higher and higher, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, before we continue, does anybody have any questions? Yes, Hiram.
When are we gonna have dessert?
We will have dessert. The question was, when are we going to have dessert? We will have dessert after Cheyenne's activity. Are there any more questions?
And after
Yes, Kalani. Yes, Kalani, after closing prayers as well. Are there any questions about music? Okay, let's continue. The next thing we're going to talk about with music, keep your questions now, okay? I will give you another chance to ask questions afterwards. The next thing we're going to talk about music is the lyrics. So we've already talked about the kind of music, now we're going to talk about the lyrics. Do you know what lyrics means? Raise your hand if you don't know what lyrics are.
I know what real lyrics are.
The lyrics are the words in a song.
Yeah.
Very good. I've got smart kiddos, don't I? Yeah, okay. Remember rule number 1. What's rule number 1?
Respect.
That's right. Okay, so there's this amazing thing that happens when you're listening to music. But before we can get there, we're going to talk a little bit more about our brains, okay? I got another picture. I'm going to put them right over on top of the mouse. This is a person, okay? This right here is a special line, okay? So this is a person. This is his brain. Up here above the line is his conscious thoughts. Those are the things that you know you're thinking. Okay? Down below the line is your subconscious thoughts. These are all of the things that you don't know you're thinking. Just a minute, please. These are the things like telling your heart to breathe. Can you imagine? Heart to breathe? Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if your heart, if you had to tell it pump, 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 pump. And while you're telling your heart to pump, you've also got to tell your lungs to breathe. Now it's pump and breathe, pump and breathe, pump and breathe, pump and breathe, pump and breathe. And look for that dog over there. Pump and breathe and pump and breathe. And look at there's a car over there. Pump and breathe, pump and breathe. Pretty crazy, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, our bodies are designed so that we have a part in our brain. In fact, it sits like right here in our brain, and it's called the reticular activating system. And the whole point of this is to make sure that your subconscious is taking care of things. The whole reason our subconscious and reticular activating thing exists has 2 things to do. Keep you alive and keep you safe and comfortable. Okay, so part of keeping you alive is this part of your brain. Make sure your heart keeps beating. And to make sure your lungs are breathing. And when you learn to drive,
It makes sure you don't run into things.
it will help you. So in the beginning, when you learn to drive, it's kind of scary because you have so many things you're thinking about. You're like, okay, I got to turn this way, turn the car this way, and turn the car this way. And I got to watch for all the signs that I need to see. And I've got to watch for stop signs. And I've got to watch for speed limit signs. And I've got to watch for lights turning green.
And
And there's a lot of things that you think about in the beginning. But after a while, your subconscious takes over. Because this amazing subconscious will look for anything you tell it to look for. And it will start to notice the street signs. And so it will say, hey, there's a stop sign. And now you've trained it to look for the stop signs. So now that's a subconscious thing and you don't have to think about it. And then it also looks for the speed limit signs. So your mind starts saying, oh, and it's kind of like it taps you on the shoulder. Hey, look, there's a speed limit sign. And so you don't have to be thinking, where's the speed limit sign? Where's the stop signs? Is that light going to turn red or green? You can it starts to become an automatic process. Now, before we continue, I want you to test your reticular activating system. Okay? So right now, I want everybody to find purple things. Start looking for purple. You found them? Did you see them before? Some of them you may have been aware of, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I want you to take a minute and feel the clothes touching your body. Can you feel them? It's kind of weird, huh? Because you've been wearing clothes for your whole life, so your body says you didn't need to know that you're wearing clothes, so you don't necessarily tune into feeling them. Unless they're irritating your skin, and then your body says, hey, there's something poking you right there, and then it just kind of bugs you for a while, right? Yeah, that's how it works. And so this is our subconscious brain. Now here's some interesting information. Your conscious brain thinks 40 thoughts per second. 20 to 40, they say. That's how many thoughts you're thinking in your brain in 1 second, like that. Your subconscious,
He's the other 60.
that's a different program. That's when we're talking about body language. Your subconscious thinks 40 million thoughts in a second. Your subconscious is a pretty busy person, isn't it? There's a lot going on in there. Well, in order to get things into our brain, there are things that have to happen. We have to be taught them over and over again. Repetition is what it's called. So you hear things over and over again. And when you hear those things over and over again, they start getting past this filter in your brain. Because after a while, this filter starts keeping things out. That's why sometimes you'll meet a person and you tell them that they're beautiful, but they had something happen to them that taught them that they're not beautiful. And so now they just flip it out. It's not true. Flip it out, flip it out, flip it out. That's what their subconscious does. Well, there's a way to get past it like that. You can get words and thoughts and things into a person's brain like that. Instead of having to repeat and repeat and repeat. Thank you for snapping for me because I don't snap very well. Okay. That's enough snapping. Okay. The way to have that go into your brain that fast, music. Music goes into your ear and straight into your brain. Straight into your brain. So, now we know that there's all the words to music, right? You're listening to these words, you're listening to these songs. Maybe you can hear what the words are, and maybe you can't. But every word that's in that song goes straight into your brain. It doesn't hit the filter, it goes straight into your brain. Every single word. So it's really important that we know the words to the songs that we're listening to. And that we choose songs that have words that help us to feel better about ourselves and feel better about our lives. It's important that when we're listening to songs, that we look up the lyrics on the songs that we like and make sure that they are saying things we want to hear. And one day, some of you may choose to write music. Please write words that will get to people's hearts, to remind them who they are and how beautiful and wonderful they are. Put those kind of things in your music. Okay? Do we have any questions about the brain, about music that we've talked about so far? Are there any questions? Yes, Kalani?
What does subconscious mean?
Haha, great question. So your conscious mind are the things that you're thinking about right now. It's when you're looking at me and you're thinking, that's my mom up there talking. And she's telling me things that I don't understand, so I need to ask a question. Those are the thoughts that you're having, right? Something like that. Well, those are the things that are going on. The conscious means that that's what we're thinking about, and we can think about it. We can tune into them and know what we're thinking. Sub means below. So these are all the thoughts that are happening below, and we can't recognize them. We can't turn into them. We can't look at them because they're below our conscious. Does that help at all? You think you got it?
Yeah.
You think so? Anybody else have a question? Do you have a question? Thank you so much, Kalani, for asking that amazing question. Do you have a question? Cheyenne, Zach, any questions? Okay. So now let's move on. Well, now we are going to talk about our third subject. So far, we've talked about the kinds of music that we listen to. And we've talked about the words, the lyrics to music that we listen to. Now we're going to talk about invisible music. Invisible music. Now, you guys have all listened to the radio, right? Have you listened to the radio? We turn the radio on in the car. The radio is a receiver. We turn it on and it starts picking up the air. Whatever is in the air, it starts picking it up and then it channels it into the radio and then it plays out for us. But that music is already in the air. So it's going around us all the time. All those radio waves, they're everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And they go through our bodies.
But we never hear them.
We don't hear them in our conscious mind. But one of the 40 million things our subconscious is doing is hearing all of those songs. Every single song going through the air. Our subconscious is hearing. That feels kind of scary, huh? That feels kind of scary. And then we have Wi-Fi, internet. Now we've got Wi-Fi stuff going through the air, right? And every time you say a thought, and every time you think a thought, they go through the air. So every time you think, I hate that person, that thought is going through the air and it's getting into their subconscious brain. Because our subconscious is hearing it, even when our conscious mind is not. That sounds pretty scary. That sounds really scary. So, what can we do to make up for that? What can we do instead? Do you guys have any ideas?
Think good things.
Yes. What's your idea, Kalani?
Think good things and say good things about people.
Think good things about people and say good things about people. Can I take it a step further for you? Think good things about yourself and say good things about yourself. Thank you for your comment. Because it's important that we think and say good things about other people and other things, and that we think and say those things about ourselves as well. Okay, do we have any other ideas? Thinking and saying good things about it ourselves is good. Do you remember when you were doing those that are on the wall? If we can remember to do those kind of things every day, we have affirmations on our wall. If we can remember to do affirmations every day, that's a way that we can send that kind of stuff into our bodies, send it into our minds. And if we're listening to good music while we're doing it, it can help it go in further and faster. Huh. Okay. And the other way is when we do choose music, that we choose really good music. That is the most important way to combat all of the music out there, is that we choose really good music. That we encourage our friends to choose really good music. That if eventually, if we could all choose really good music, and we could get our friends to choose good music, and we can get our friends to choose good music, eventually the people who make bad music would have to stop. But that would take a lot of courage and a lot of determination. Do you think you guys can do that? Okay. Now, before we continue, are there any more questions? Zach? Are there any questions? Okay. Now, let's talk about what we've talked about today. What's the first thing we talked about?
The rules.
The first subject of music that we talked about. What was that?
Kinds of music.
Amy?
The kinds of music.
The kinds of music, the type of music. Okay, what was the second thing we talked about?
The lyrics.
Lonnie?
The lyrics.
The lyrics. What was the third thing we talked about? Hiram, do you remember? It was silent music.
The invisibility music.
The invisible music. I wrote it down on my notes wrong there. That's silly of me. I wrote it right there. So there's three kinds of music things to consider. You need to consider that the kind of music you listen to has an effect on you. The kind of lyrics in your music has an effect on you. The invisible music going around all over the world has an effect on you, and so you need to choose things daily in your life to counter that, to make up for it, so that we can be happy people. Because there's a lot of scary stuff out there. Okay, so what I'm asking you guys to do now is pay attention to how you feel when you're listening to music. When you listen to music, does it make your body go anxious? Does it make you feel like you want to go like this and curl up? Or does it make you feel good and like your body just is expanding? Those are things to think about, how they make you feel. Does the music make you feel sad? Does the music help you feel happy? Those are some things to think about. Pay attention to the lyrics, especially if they're your favorite songs and you're singing them all the time. Check them out. Make sure that the lyrics are good. What are they asking you to do? Or what kind of impression are they giving you? Do you think they're talking about good things or bad things? And be sure to use powerful intentions, affirmations, or declarations to combat the music that we can't see around us all of the time. So thank you. Thank you so much for learning the rules. I really appreciate that Amy raised her hand when I asked for some feedback. And I appreciate that Hiram did his best. He tried so hard. And Kalani did amazing. And Cheyenne learned to respect me too. And stop rolling her eyes at me. I love it. Thank you, YouTube, for showing up and watching. Thank you so much for being a part of our family tonight. And I will see you guys tomorrow. You can stop the video now.